Recently, Jiangcheng, Huludao, Liaoning province, suffered an unprecedented flood. Authorities claimed that 11 people died and 14 were missing. They emphasized that heavy rainfall was the cause of the flood, but local residents believed it was due to the reservoir discharge. The public revealed that the authorities seriously concealed the death toll, stating that at least thousands of people died, and, in some villages, no one survived. On the evening of August 23rd, an official report from Huludao, Liaoning province, stated that due to heavy rainfall, serious floods occurred in Jiangcheng County, Xi'an County, and other areas in Huludao City. The disaster caused 10 deaths, 1 death on duty, and 14 people were reported missing. The missing persons are still being searched for and rescued. According to preliminary statistics, the number of people affected in Huludao City reached 188,757, and the disaster caused losses of 10.3 billion yuan, RMB. 8 national and provincial trunk roads and 210 rural roads were damaged and interrupted to varying degrees. 187 bridges were damaged, and power and communications in 128,580 households in 286 villages across 29 towns were affected. The CCP deliberately reduces social attention. On social media, people from all over the country left comments under the official Huludao news conference report, asking, "Why can't I find such big news after browsing all day? Why can I only see it by searching? Why am I only learning about such a serious disaster today?" Some local young people also asked, "Let me ask again. Has the news of Huludao's heavy rain and subsequent reconstruction after the disaster been released in the northeast? Have friends in the south seen it?" In addition to deliberately reducing the visibility of the Huludao disaster, the CCP authorities also implemented controls over some civilian rescuers, sending text messages warning them not to believe in rumors or spread rumors. Some volunteers were even temporarily blocked from the internet, preventing them from live broadcasting. The authorities claimed that their remarks involved so-called sensitive information. Some volunteers stressed that we should actively let the outside world know about our situation and provide more assistance to the disaster area. It was originally a poor county, and all the cattle, sheep, and pigs were washed away. The people risked their lives to raise more than 100 pigs, but the pigs and sheep were washed away. How can they survive? Some volunteers who sent supplies to the disaster area were also harassed by the authorities, who required them to hand over the relief supplies to the government for processing. Volunteers said, "We just want to send them directly to the people who need them the most." The official announcement of the death toll was directly contradicted by the public. Because the CCP has always tried to cover up information that is unfavorable to it, no one believed the official announcement of the number of deaths and missing persons. Local people have questioned the authenticity of the official figures. Civilian rescuers revealed that the worst-hit area in Jiangcheng County, Liaoning province, was Datan Town, including Yunshandong Village, Madaozi Village, Datan Village, Hualanggu, Tangwanggu, Tudaogu, Sandaogu, Heijigu, Xiaoshimen, Hanjiatan, and other places. Ms. Yang, who works away from home and whose hometown is Huludao, disclosed to reporters on the 26th that she was not at the scene when the flood occurred, but her classmates said the disaster was very serious and that more than 500 or 600 people had died. Hanjiatan in the downstream area was completely wiped out, and only 5 people were left in a village. The news was not allowed to be reported. The whole of Jiangcheng reported 10 deaths, but more than 100 people claimed the bodies at the local funeral home. 7 people were found in the cornfield in Yangwanerji. The county magistrate led people to build roads, and 2 people were dug out of the sand. They were so scared that they dared not continue working. Her classmates also said that in the Liugu River in Xi'an County, 500 or 600 bodies were not allowed to be claimed. They were buried directly, placed on the side, covered with cloth, and buried together. Her classmate also told her, "The Maodao River in Yangshuan is very serious. There is nothing left in the low-lying houses. Some houses only have the front door left. She emphasized, "The facts are there. People with love and ability can go to the scene to help, and the people will give you the answer." Public information from Baidu Encyclopedia shows that in 2004, Hanjiatun village had 224 households and 704 people. A villager downstream of Huludao Reservoir also said, "Only dozens of people came out from 3 or 4 villages, and people rushed to our village, but no one has come to claim them yet." Some people also said that only 2 households in Haishanki village survived, and there has been no news of the others. Huludao suffered a major flood, and officials seriously falsified the number of deaths and missing persons. The public said that the number of deaths and missing persons was at least in the 3 digits. A Huludao resident told a reporter that more than 20 villages were destroyed, and in some villages, no living people could be seen. His father went to Jiancheng to participate in disaster relief and said that the local area was in a terrible state, with all the houses collapsed and many casualties. He also said that because the mayor wanted to suppress the matter, only 11 people were reported dead. But the locals said that thousands of people died. Another local resident said that the destroyed villages were all in the ravines. A mudslide occurred in the second half of the night, and the reservoir suddenly released floodwaters, which instantly destroyed several villages. The authorities suddenly released floodwaters, but some places did not notify residents in advance to evacuate. The resident interviewed believed that this was both a natural disaster and a man-made disaster. "It's too deceptive. The water flow was very fast, and everything was washed away. Thousands of people died." Faced with the disaster, he said, "I am so heartbroken that I can't describe it in words." Rare. Floods in Xinjiang's Taklimakan Desert. Recently, floods occurred in Xinjiang's Taklimakan Desert, attracting widespread attention. On August 27th, related topics surged on Weibo's hot searches. As for the cause of the flood in the Taklimakan Desert, officials blamed it on melting snow and heavy rainfall. Multiple videos showed roads submerged by the floods, with tourists driving as if they were in boats, and many vehicles stalling. The related videos sparked heated discussions among netizens. Some commented, "It's incredible that there are floods in the Taklimakan Desert. This weather is too strange. There are floods in the desert, yet it hasn't rained on the coast for almost a month. It doesn't rain where it should, and it rains heavily where it shouldn't. It's amazing. Where does the water come from?" Experts say the floods were caused by melting snow. I just want to ask the experts, how much snow is on those mountains? According to data, the Taklimakan Desert is located in the Tarim Basin. It is the largest desert in China and the second largest mobile desert in the world, covering an area of 330,000 square kilometers. It belongs to the warm, temperate, arid desert climate, with an average annual precipitation of no more than 100 millimeters, and in some areas, as low as 4 to 5 millimeters, while the average evaporation rate is as high as 2,500 to 3,400 millimeters. In recent years, there have been 3 floods in the Taklimakan Desert. In July 2021, the Yuki area of Sinopec Northwest oil field in the Taklimakan Desert was hit by floods, submerging more than 300 square kilometers, washing away many roads in the oil field and causing dam collapses. In the summer of 2022, 21 rivers, including the mainstream of the Tarim River and its tributaries, the Yarkand River, the Aksu River, and the Weigan River, experienced floods exceeding warning levels. The flood event of the mainstream of the Tarim River lasted 80 days and ended on September 22nd. Foreign investment fleeing out of China hit a record high. As the mainland Chinese economy continued to decline across the board, accompanied by a surge in bankruptcies and unemployment, foreign direct investment into China fell by $14.8 billion in the second quarter of 2024, while foreign capital outflows from China in the first half of 2024 hit a record high. Data released by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange of the Communist Party of China on Friday, August 9th, showed that foreign direct investment in China's balance of payments fell by $14.8 billion in April-June this year and dropped by about $5 billion in the first 6 months. According to Bloomberg, foreign investment in China has declined in recent years after reaching a record $344 billion in 2021. Factors such as China's continued economic slowdown and geopolitical tensions have accelerated the pace of foreign capital withdrawal from China. Data released earlier by the Ministry of Commerce of the Communist Party of China indicated that foreign direct investment in China in the first half of this year hit a new low since the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak in 2020. The mainland economy is in serious decline, marked by a wave of bankruptcies, closures, and widespread unemployment. The real estate market is collapsing, leading to crises in banking, services, consumption, and other areas. Large corporations and manufacturing supply chains from the West, Japan, Korea, and Taiwan have witnessed a record decline and loss in business and production in the mainland, leading to an accelerating withdrawal from China across all areas of business and production. At the same time, China's outbound investment hit a record high. In the second quarter of this year, Chinese companies invested $71 billion overseas, an increase of more than 80% year-on-year. With the difficult and stagnant domestic economic situation, along with declining consumption and purchasing power, Chinese companies have shifted their focus to finding consumer markets and increasing investment abroad, particularly in emerging projects such as electric vehicles and battery factories. The latest data from the State Administration of Foreign Exchange of the Communist Party of China also showed that the abnormal indicator measuring China's trade surplus continued to grow, reaching a record negative $87 billion in the second quarter. According to the Nikkei Shimbun, in the second quarter of this year, the amount of money flowing out of China exceeded the amount flowing in, particularly in funds used for factory construction and mergers and acquisitions, M&A. This is only the second time since statistics began in 1998 that there has been negative growth, with capital outflows exceeding the $12.1 billion from July to September 2023. In the spring of 2022, the CCP implemented a strict epidemic lockdown policy in cities such as Shanghai, which plunged the Chinese economy into chaos. Foreign direct investment in mainland China began to decline sharply from April to June 2022, falling from $107.2 billion in the first quarter of that year to $37.8 billion. Currently, the Chinese economy remains sluggish. The trend of parent companies of overseas multinational corporations withdrawing funds from legal entities in China is strengthening. In the second quarter of this year, related companies withdrew a net $22 billion from China, marking the highest outflow since 1998, when comparable data became available. Global giants flee China, exposing the harsh realities for foreign businesses nationwide.
Western firms flee China, leaving millions without jobs and facing an uncertain future. According to the latest data from Gallup, 41% of Americans believe that the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, is the greatest enemy of the United States today, with Russia coming in second at 26% and Iran closely behind at 9%. There is nothing surprising about this result, as this is the fourth consecutive year that Americans have considered the CCP as their top enemy. What is more notable is that Gallup, along with a host of other foreign companies, are withdrawing all operations from China. Gallup, a renowned global polling company, has announced its exit from China. The company, known for its expertise in education and training, disclosed its decision to close its operations in China through a notice to its clients, as reported by the Financial Times. According to the Financial Times, Gallup informed its clients that it would be withdrawing from China, with plans to relocate some ongoing projects overseas and terminate others. The article highlighted the increasing challenges faced by American consulting firms operating in China, attributed to both the country's economic downturn and heightened scrutiny from Chinese security agencies. Recent incidents, including raids and searches targeting American consulting firms like Bain & Company, Mintz Group, and Capvision, have underscored the growing difficulties. The report indicated that Gallup's withdrawal from China is part of a broader trend, with other multinational consulting firms also downsizing their operations in the country. For instance, Forrester Market Consulting, specializing in technology consulting, has laid off a significant portion of its Chinese workforce, while Gerson Lehrman Group initiated layoffs last summer. Not only foreign companies, but even the Netherlands has made a bold move by closing its consulate in Chongqing amidst China's struggle to attract foreign investors. This decision, announced via the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, shifts responsibilities to the Dutch embassy in Beijing for matters concerning Chongqing and its neighboring provinces. The closure follows discussions with foreign business representatives in Chengdu, revealing the limited presence of Dutch businesses in the area. While China's foreign ministry respects the Netherlands' decision, tensions between Beijing and Brussels have heightened due to the Ukraine conflict and trade disputes, with Dutch intelligence services expressing concerns about economic security. Additionally, the Dutch government's alignment with U.S. policies aimed at restricting China's access to certain high-tech industries has strained relations further. Notably, Chongqing hosts consulates from only a handful of countries, including Japan, Canada, and Hungary. Recent incidents involving Dutch journalists being barred from covering protests in nearby Sichuan province underscore ongoing challenges faced by foreign media in China. When questioned about these incidents, China's foreign ministry spokesperson reiterated the country's commitment to protecting the rights of foreign journalists. Shortly prior to that, the American e-commerce giant Amazon's announcement of its withdrawal from the Chinese market highlights the vast scale and potential of China's economy. Amazon's decision to exit China undoubtedly reflects the challenging circumstances it faced, indicating a lack of viable prospects for growth and sustainability in the Chinese market. According to available public data, Amazon China peaked with a market share of 15.8% in 2008, its highest point in the Chinese market. However, from 2012 to 2018, its market share steadily dwindled, declining to figures of 2.3%, 2.7%, 1.5%, 1.2%, 1.3%, 0.8%, and eventually 0.6%. As Amazon's e-commerce market share plummeted to 0.6%, Tmall, JD.com, and Pinduoduo emerged as dominant players with market shares of 55%, 25.2%, and 5.7%, respectively. This data clearly demonstrates that Amazon China faced fierce competition from these aggressive players in China's e-commerce landscape. Amazon China's space for development contracted, while the triumvirate dominance of Alibaba, JD.com, and Pinduoduo solidified. Above cases are just some of the undergoing global economic landscape in China, which is a seismic shift as Western capital steadily diverts its investments away from China. These shifts represent more than mere diversification, they symbolize a fundamental reassessment of trust and strategic economic interests towards emerging economies like India, Vietnam, the United States, and nations within the European Free Trade Association, EFTA. This mass departure, fueled by factors such as escalating labor expenses and apprehensions regarding regulatory uncertainties, has triggered a deep reevaluation of trust and strategic economic interests.